Okay guys, welcome to another They Did What. Now, yep, your eyes are not mistaking you. This video does go on for about 2.5 hours. Now, when I first set out to do a Bmx only, basically, if you've never watched one of these before, it's where I take a look at a software label and I look at some of their games and, you know, just talk about them. Talk when I'm playing them. Now, when I started off doing this a few years ago, I used to kind of cherry pick games, you know, because it's impossible to pick every single game because there's just so many. Now, the mistake I made with this particular video was I didn't want to leave any out, so I think there's something like 60 games, which isn't anywhere near as many games Firebird actually released, but you know, it just went on and on and on. I actually started recording this video over a month ago, and I have to keep kind of going back in and chipping away at it and adding wee bits in, so at long last I'm delighted to get to the end of it because I thought it was never ever going to finish. So yeah, Firebird software. Now I'm just looking at Wikipedia here. Telecom Soft was founded in 1984 when computer games were the fastest growing sector within the computer software market at the time. 3 publishing labels were initially established within Telecom Soft, each with its own marketing strategy, although some of them would later fragment to form a number of sub-labels. The Firebird label would be Telecom Soft's primary identity. Although initially set up to publish a range of budget titles, Firebird later evolved into a full-price label. As a consequence, the Silverbird label was formed to continue publishing the budget range. As Atari ST and Amiga home computers grew in popularity, the Rainbird label was established to give the more complex 16-bit titles a unique brand identity. Firebird was the first computer game label to be set up at Telecom Soft. It had earlier been named Firefly Software, but was then renamed by James Levy shortly after he moved from mainstream BT to take over the label's marketing and PR manager. Levy did this because he found that the original name was not fully protected. Initially there were 2 prices. Firebird Silver would release budget titles priced at £2.50, whereas Firebird Gold would release more prestigious titles at £5.95. The Firebird label was aimed at a teenage market, hoping to entice young spenders to spend their hard-earned pocket money on good quality, low-price games rather than records and comics. So anyway, that part is off Wikipedia, but yeah, I always remember, you know, Firebird was one of the earliest budget labels. They did put out some cracking games. I don't think there was any real poor games that I ever bought, but I generally went by what Zap64 recommended. So anyway, I'm going to be quiet now. I'm going to let you enjoy some adverts, cassette inlays of various games whilst listening to some SID tunes taken from some of their games. Right, okay, kicking this absolutely massive video off is Revs on the C64. The original was on the BBC. It was written by was it Jeff Crammond, I think it was, and it was published under Acorn Soft. But the C64 one was released by Firebird. It wasn't a game, I did buy it, I think it was about £15. It came in the big box like Elite, but I just found it too difficult. I think you had to use keys, but I know it was a game that a lot of people praised big time because it was so realistic. So that is Revs. Next up is Ricochet on the ZX Spectrum. Never even heard of this one. Ah, right, okay, so it's a Breakout, except you've got two balls. Quiet at the back. I think that background would actually quite annoy me. I'm going kind of cross-eyed just looking at it at the moment. Right, and you appear to have some sort of barrier at the back. You notice that the balls don't actually disappear. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Part 1. The very best Breakout game on the Spectrum, certainly, in fact probably on all 8-bits, I would say, was Batty, which was famously given away, was it Sinclair User, I think it was. It's a really tremendous Arkanoid game for the Specky. Yeah, that background, the kind of zigzags would start to annoy me big style. But yeah, this one's not half bad. That's okay. So that is Ricochet. That is on this Spectrum. Right, next one is, I didn't even see the name of it. I think it's called Samurai Rabbit or something like that. This is on the Amstrad. Now, it was on the C64. Never played it before until now. One of my mates who was a big, in fact he is indeed a big Amstrad fan, used to say that this was one of the best games out for the system. So it looks like it's some sort of fighting game. A rather odd choice for a character, I would say. Nice bright visuals, which is always an Amstrad thing. I had a nice colour palette, nice bright colours, unlike the C64, which were very dull. So that is Samurai Warrior, and that is on Amstrad. Now, staying with Amstrad, this is Savage. Got to say, rather impressive graphics. I mean, look at the colour there. That is really nice. Really nice. Now, I don't know if this was a full price game or not. As we know, Firebird started off making budget games, but then they did also make some full price games like Elite and Revs. Excuse me, I was getting a little drinky juice. That's better. Really impressed with the graphics in this. Obviously, because there are so many games released by Firebird, I had to just try and pick, sort of spread them out amongst different systems. If I was to show you every version on every computer, this video would run for hours and hours and hours. I mean, 2 hours and I don't know what it is, 14 minutes or something. It's quite frankly ridiculous. It really is. But it's a question of what game do I miss out, so I've really included most of them. So that is excellent. Really liked that one. Next one is Scary Monsters. Now you can see there it was programmed by Odin Computers. This is on the Commodore 64, by the way, but it was released by Firebird. I wasn't even aware of this game. I think if there was an award for the smallest character that you control, it would be a flip between this and Load Runner. I've got absolutely no idea what I'm doing here. None at all. Except it looks like some sort of, some kind of, I was going to say, kind of graphic adventure. What on earth is he doing? He's got a very strange way of running. and it seems to be more akin to pinball. I'm just bouncing about here. Tiny wee graphics though. I mean, I've got to say, the graphics are super detailed. It was Gary Bracey that was telling me that Ocean first came up with the graphical style. Was it Target Renegade? I think it was, where they actually, I think they overlaid sprites. What they do is they would do the sprite, then they would overlay a black outline around the sprite, which gave it that really super kind of detailed look. It looks like, is he kind of tip-tapping his way through the castle, possibly, to try and avoid all the monsters? Quite a bizarre game, never even heard of that one. But when you consider how many games were actually released on the 8-bits, you know, you were never going to get to play every single one. So yeah, that is Scary Monsters, and that's on the Commodore 64. Next one is Seabase Delta. This is on the Spectrum. Oh great, it's not an arcade adventure, it's a text adventure. I was never into these at all. I mean, they were extremely popular back in the 8-bit days. Even in the 16-bit days you had stuff like the Pawn, although it did have graphics, but yeah, I was never one for text adventures. Just didn't have the patience for them. Half the battle was actually figuring out just what kind of sort of parser the machine had. You know, what could you type in, what would it understand, what would it not understand. Nice graphics, got to say. I'm standing on a metallic platform in a large dome, brightly lit. Too slow there. You can probably tell I'm actually doing the what I tend to do now, and I'm not exactly happy with it, but what I generally do now with longer videos is I will record the gameplay, then I will do the voiceover later on. It's not great because I usually prefer to be able to play the game and then I can react in real time, talking at the same time, but it's the only way I can possibly do big videos like this. So yeah, that is Seabase Delta on the Spectrum. Not one for me, I'm afraid. Next one, Shorts Fuse. And again, this is on the Amstrad. I was going to say Spectrum, it's actually an Amstrad. Shorts, is it Short Fuse? Did that say shorts? I think it did say shorts. That doesn't make sense. Right, okay. I didn't expect this. I had an idea that it would be some kind of detective strategy game, not some platform game. Boris? Is that supposed to be the Kremlin in the background? And is it Boris Yeltsin, possibly? I've got no idea. Now you can probably tell, due to the huge number of games that I've got, I'm trying to kind of limit each game to a couple of minutes. I mean, even that, you know, it's making this video massive. I was actually thinking of putting it out in two separate halves, or two separate videos, and I thought to myself, you know what, if I don't do it in a oneer, I'm going to end up putting part 1 out and then thinking, you know, I'll not bother putting part 2. So I just thought I would put this out as a mammoth video. If anybody actually gets to the end of it, I'll be very, very surprised. So I've got absolutely no idea what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to defuse the bomb, possibly. I've got absolutely no idea. So I'll just have another wee drink of my juice. Yeah, you can see I'm really... Right, well I touched the bomb there. I didn't even die when I fell there. I've got no idea what I'm supposed to do here. None at all. Well, I've acquired 100 points. Anyway, that is Shorts Fuse, and that is on Amstrad. This one is called Sidewise, and this is on the Spectrum. Player 1, choose your battleground. Is that what it said, battleground, or was this a bit too slow? It's kind of I was going to say a jetpack, but it's kind of more in common with sort of Nemesis R-Type. This is actually quite nice. It damn difficult though. I don't appear to be killing very much. Do I need to kill the head to destroy it? Yeah, you need to kill both bits. Not a bad little shoot 'em up though. Do you get different power-ups, I wonder? You would imagine a game like this you would have power-ups. The fact that I'm not actually getting very far into the game is probably not the best way to... Yeah, anyway, it's nice, but it's difficult. That is Sidewise, that is on the Spectrum. Next up is Spiky Harold. Again, this is on the ZX Spectrum. I do remember this game, I don't remember playing it. I think this is the first time I've actually loaded it. Yeah, you play the part of, presumably, this hedgehog, I think, called Harold, I would imagine. The idea of the game, I have got no idea. I've got items, so it's obviously kind of, it's not just a straightforward platform game. I've got absolutely no idea how I'm supposed to. Hurrah! Right, presumably I'm trying to get over that wall, or to fall down here. Ah, fall down here. Pleasant enough little graphics. There were so many games like this. There was stuff like Pajama Rama, there was it Nighttime I think it was called? There was Finders Keepers, there was loads of these little games. I was never a big fan of them, to be fair. They were massively popular though, but I didn't have the patience. I preferred more kind of arcadey style games, but yeah, this is nice graphically wise. It's up there. So that was Spiky Harold. Right, next one. This is another Commodore 64 game. This is called Spud, sponsored by the character from Trainspotting, I don't think. Right, so it's a shoot 'em up. Rather difficult. You know what? I say difficult. How can you have one game and make a judgment? You can't possibly. You know, you could never. If you completed a game on your first go, then it would be a complete waste of money. I can't say it's got the most imaginative sprites for a shoot 'em up. I mean, you know, it looks alright. It plays fine. I would say it's a touch dull. So there you go, Spud 1987 Firebird software. Yes, yeah. You know, what could you expect? Budget games, you know, you couldn't expect some lavishly featured game. So that was Spud. That was on the Commodore 64. This next one is called Star Firebirds, and it's on the Amstrad. Select 1 or 2 players. 1. Ah, it's Galaga. And a rather nicely coloured clone of that, yeah. Gotta say, you know, the Amstrad, when games were done properly, they looked really nice. It had such a vibrant colour palette. You know, the Spectrum had a nice vibrant colour palette as well. Akin to Christmas lights. It was Mark that does 20th Century Gaming. He described the Spectrum palette as being like Christmas lights, and that's exactly what they're like. But the Amstrad had a really bright palette as well, but it had more colours. So, you know, some of the 8-bit, some of the games in Amstrad just looked absolutely glorious. Really nicely coloured and detailed. So this is actually really good. That big tree thing doesn't want to die. recall this being on any other system. It certainly was one that I never got to see back in the day. So yeah, that's really nice. I like that one. Next one is Super Rider on the Commodore 64. What on earth have we got here? Yes, it's it is abstract to say the least. You're riding a horse past some large sort of pyramid type things. There was a few games that had horses, but I'm saying a few, there's only one I can think of, and it was World Games, or was it Summer Games 2, it had a horse event, and I just could not get on with it at all. I don't know, I just don't think horse kind of levels work. Saying that, is it Kane? Kane was a Mastertronic game, that had a horse event in it, or not event, it had a horse level where I think you're chasing a train, I think it was, or is it Indians, I can't remember exactly, but that one actually worked. But yeah, this is quite an abstract one, so you run across the bridge presumably. Yeah, not every budget game was good. Why did I change yellow there? Does that mean that I've cleared it properly? I don't know. Do we really care? Not at all. Yeah, that is Super Rider. I would disagree with the super. Right, next one is a comic game on the Amstrad. Now I remember this getting quite a lot of publicity, I'm sure, at the time. I've got absolutely no idea what the game's about or anything. Was it one of these games where you won a prize? I can't remember. Right, I'm guessing I'm trying to shoot the comet, presumably. I've got no idea what's going on here. None at all. Right, is this sort of... Right, it's sort of like Missile Command, except rather than trying to protect a base at the bottom, you're trying to protect a thing in the centre. Yeah, there was a lot of originality back in the 8-bit days. You know, some of them worked, some of them didn't work. But I have got absolutely no idea at all what the idea of the game. You allowed too many missiles to hit the ship. Right, okay. You lost. Get it right up you. Press any key to play again. No thank you. Right, next one is The Hacker. Now this is on the BBC. See, I've tried to include every system where possible. Right, wait a minute, I'm trying to get the right key. Keys to what? I keep pausing it. Alright, I don't really know what's going on here. Try again. Nah, I've got no idea why I can't move. Well, you can see there it's a platform game, but I've got no idea why it won't let me actually start the game. Looks like I'm just constantly pausing it. Anyway, let's move on. Not got any time for that one. That is The Hacker on the BBC. The next one is called The Plot, and this is on Amstrad. Again, really nice detailed graphics, nice use of colour. History has been repeated, you will be hung at dawn. Oh, lovely. The plot, am I trying to sort of possibly blow up the Houses of Parliament, is it? Could that be it? Did I play the party Guy Fawkes? I'm just guessing here. You can see the dynamite at the top, hence it's called The Plot. You keep telling us. Alright, one last go. I must admit, I never realised that Firebird made as many games. I think for future They Did What's, I really need to just cherry pick games but there were so many, you know, there was just so many games, and most of which I'd never heard of. I thought, if I just did the ones I've heard of, there's going to be very few. So anyway, that is the plot, and that is on Amstrad. Right, moving up to 16-bit. This is the Sentinel. It's a very, very clever game. I remember getting it on the Commodore 64, and I didn't have a clue what I was supposed to be doing, but once you actually understand that you're basically trying to transport higher than the Sentinel so that you can absorb it, that's how you win the game, or win a level. And the way to do that, he's basically scanning all the time. The way to do that is by creating boulders, and then you can transfer to where he is, and then once you've transferred, you can then absorb the energy from the sort of like the rocks and the trees. So I can get rid of that. So your contents, so let's get rid of that as well. What you want to do, it says, is build the blocks, and then if you put a robot on top of the boulder, you can then transfer. So what I'm now doing there is I'm looking back on myself and absorbing the energy of the old robot. So I'll soak them up. As long as you can see the base that the thing's on, then you can get the energy from it. Can I? Yep, there we go. And transfer to him, and that should be the end of the level. Because I was able to see the base of the Sentinel, that's me won the level. And what I can now do is have a look over my landscape. I think there's something like 10,000 levels, but that's a great game. That is a Sentinel. Right, next one. This is called, what is this called? This is Thrust 2. Yeah, Thrust 2. The original Thrust was an amazing game. And I noticed there, Gary Penn, ex Zap 64 reviewer. Sorry guys, if you can hear some strange noises, it's just myself drinking my juice. That's better. Thrust 2. I loved the original Thrust. Is one of my favourite. Yeah, it's one of my favourite Commodore 64 games. Obviously, they've gone for a sprite-based game rather than a sort of vector look, but I think it loses something using this kind of graphic. First time I've seen this, I love the original Thrust, but I don't remember ever seeing this one. Presumably I'd moved on to the 16-bit machines by the time this game came out. There we go. So it's kind of, well, it's very, very similar aim of the game. Just not as pretty. Plus, I'm using the joystick here now. Thrust should always be used with the keys for that real sort of fine tuning when you're turning. So yeah, that's Thrust 2. Now let's look at the original and the best. This is the original one. Bob Stevenson done the artwork. Really quite a simple picture, but really nice. The big afterburners as it comes out the cave. Got an absolutely stonking soundtrack as well. Yeah, I mean, look at that. That is what Thrust should be like. It should be vector graphics. That's my opinion, obviously. It doesn't mean it's right, but I know Thrust was a very popular game, and I think the vector style graphics was definitely played a big part in it. Plus the real excellent controls. I'm making a complete pig's ear of that. Oh, that's it, yeah. Fuel is very scarce, so what you really want to try and do is try and not keep thrusting all the time and try and pick up spare fuel when you can. The idea of the game is to pick up the little pod, and then that little thing at the bottom, if you've got time you can shoot it and it will then count down to 10, and if you finish the level before it explodes then you get a nice big chunky bonus. But you don't have to destroy the sort of what's it called? I don't know what it's called. The core thing, whatever it is. So let's pick up the fuel and spin round and get that. The reactor, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah, let's just make a run for it. If you've never played Thrust, then switch this video off now and go and play it. Excellent game. Right, next one is Thunder Zone. And this is on the Amstrad again. Yeah. Never keen in big massive scores. You can see that along the top, the big score table. I always think that was just kind of cheating. Instead of trying to make the game take up the full screen, they just put a huge big control panel on the bottom and stuck a big control panel. I mean, the actual screen there is taking up what, probably about half the screen, maybe just slightly more than that. I've got no idea what I'm trying to do here. It kind of feels a bit like a wee bit like Missile Command, only nowhere near as good. Well, I've got some points in the table at least. I have no idea why it's changing. You get a kind of beam thing. Oh, what's going on here now? Is this kind of warping to the next sector? Ah, right, okay, I've got you right. You've got kind of different weapons. I don't know what that one is. Right, that's the kind of lines. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that is Thunder Zone, and that is on the Amstrad. Thunderbirds. Yeah, this is on the C64. I did actually buy this. I think SAP64 gave it quite a good review, and it's, you know, I'm not into Thunderbirds at all, but it actually was quite a fun game. I wasn't overly keen on the graphics. I always felt it looked kind of like a Spectrum, just with everything being sort of single coloured, apart from the little thrusters obviously. But I think the idea of the game is basically to escape, and you can see there you've got one thick kind of big fat Thunderbirds which can, well, he's green so he can knock the green blocks, and the little grey one does the small blue ones, because he can fit into sort of smaller spaces. So it's really strategy rather than action. I don't think, did you ever actually shoot anything in it? I don't think you did. Game over? I've got no idea what happened there. Great speech though. But anyway, yeah, that's a nice game. Next one is called Tame Flies, and this is on the ZX Spectrum, and it's a shoot 'em up with the quintessential little farty squeaky noises that the Spectrum was great at doing. That was the only sound effect you got in most of the games in the early days, but it is pure Spectrum. I mean, they did kind of get better sound out of it, you know, as time wore on, but certainly in the early days that was about the extent of the sort of sound effects. don't remember seeing this on any other system. Oh, avoid the 5.5-inch floppy disks. Is that some kind of power-up thing? I'm really not too sure. I seem to be dying all the time, but yeah, that's a nice little game for $1.99. I'm guessing that was Tame Flies. Right, next one on the C64. This is called Train Robbers. What was I talking about? Horse games. Right, so I'm running from left to right, obviously, and I seem to be amassing some points. And I'm running from left to right, and nothing is happening. That surely can't be the game. Hold the joystick to the right. Is that it? Where's the train I'm going to rob? Right, I'm maybe doing something wrong, but I don't know. I've got no idea. I've got 102 points. Yeah, that is a Train Robber. Rather simplistic game. That was in the Commodore 64. And sticking with C64, this is it Twinkie Goes Camping? Now, it's a split screen affair. You could have two players. Now, I'm playing the screen at the top. Kinda similar to I was going to say Pitfall. That's maybe doing Pitfall an injustice. I'm sure I bought this game on budget, and I think I played it about once, and that was it. As impressive that music is, I think it would start to annoy me very quickly. Yeah, it's like a kind of Pitfall meets Kickstart. Yeah, that's Twinkie Goes Camping. Right, next one, this is called UFO. Ah, right, okay, it's a shoot 'em up. What's interesting is the little radar at the top appears to actually accurately reflect what's on the screen, but it's far too small to be of any use. I don't know why they didn't just make the screen... It's snowing. I don't know why they didn't just make the screen full size. Bonus points if you can guess. Is that Seattle? Is it in the Seattle Tower? I think it is. Yeah, I mean it's alright. I suppose I'm guessing it was a budget game. Not the deepest game in the world, but quite nice presentation. So that is UFO, I says, and that is on the C64. Right, this one back to the 16-bit. Again, this is on the Amiga. This is called Virus. Now, was it Zark? It was a game that came out for the Acorn Archimedes. It was David Bell, or David Braddon, sorry I should say, that brought it out. And then this was his kind of version on the ST Amiga. It's a beautiful looking game. It really is. Now I'll be honest, this is the demo. I'm not playing this because you use the mouse to control. Pushing forward on the mouse makes the thing dip. Pulling back makes it kind of go back the way. The two mice buttons, one controls thrust and one fires. It is a beautiful game, but it is absolutely nails as far as difficulty goes. I could never get anywhere in that at all. So like I says, this is the demo, but it gives you an idea just how pretty the game was. funny looking at games like this now, it looks ridiculously basic, but you know, back in 1986, 1987, this just looked incredible. You know, compared to what else was out there. Really, really pretty. So yeah, that is a Virus, and that was, I believe that, well, that was on the Commodore Amiga. I think it also came out for the Atari ST. Right, this game, Warhawk, this is a fantastic little shooter, little budget shoot 'em up. I did buy this, and it had a nice soundtrack as well. Not normally a fan of music in shoot 'em up games, but you know, any Rob Hubbard track is always going to be worth listening to. Not keen on the big massive score again, because they've not just made it small and stuck at the top. I think it just helps to kind of cheapen the look of the game a wee bit, which is a shame because it's actually a pretty good game. Again, it was Zap magazine that gave this quite a good review, and it was one that I did play quite a lot. It was quite a challenging little game, as I've just aptly demonstrated. Right, this one again, this was another game that I bought based on a Zap review. This is called Willow Pattern. I was always a bit disappointed with the graphics. I always thought it looked like a Spectrum game. Quite a bizarre looking game actually. But I did actually put quite a bit of time into it. It was actually quite playable. Yeah, the actual sprites are pretty shitty looking. I mean, yellow, I mean, come on. The C64 was capable of a lot better. Let's go in once more. Oh, that was close. The thing is, the backgrounds are all nicely detailed. It's just the sprites are so rubbish. This kind of reminds me of the bit in, is it Last Ninja, the first Last Ninja game, where you have to try and get across the river. It was incredibly frustrating. I suppose you could see this is like a kind of cheapo two-dimensional Last Ninja. But I had a lot of fun. I think it cost me $1.99 or something. It was good fun to play. Any sword you get only seems to last once. So yeah, that was Willow Pattern. Next one, this is called Warren. Not War and Peace, just Warren. And this is on the Commodore 64 again. I've got absolutely no idea what I'm doing here. I'm controlling a little character that looks a bit like the character out of Commando on the Commodore. It does look very similar. I've got no idea what I'm doing here. I am dead. Am I just trying to get from one end of the level to the other? I think I probably am. You got to kind of wait and then run. There doesn't appear to be any sound either. Did you notice that? Other than my talking. It's going to be hard to get through there. Whoop. Go, go, go. It's kind of more, bugger, it's more kind of puzzle. Yeah, that's Warren. I'm not overly keen on that one. Right, next one is Zalaga. Again, this is on the Commodore 64 now. I believe this is a port of the BBC game, which in itself was a port of, not a port, it was a clone of Galaga. These little guys, little red guys, look a bit like Bomb Jack. Nice colourful sprites. I think the only game I can remember decent Galaga clone was Galaxy, which was released by a company called Kingsoft, but it was just two different colours. This is actually nice and bright, although I'm not overly keen on the movement. I think this was programmed by, is it Orlando he was called, who also did Frack on the BBC, so there you go. But it's not half bad actually, not a bad little shooter. If a little flickery at times, but yeah, that's Zalaga. I say that is a Commodore 64. This one is called Zolix, and again this is on the C64 now. This is deceptively simple. It is basically Quicks, but I mean, look at the graphics. The graphics are dots. That is the graphics. But you know what? This is a fantastic game. Zap64 raved over it, and I went on to buy it, and it's a great game. This is like one of the best examples of, you know, gameplay over graphics. I mean, the graphics, you would give it, what? You'd give it 1 out of 10, but playability, I would give it a 10. It's so fast. It's great. Super addictive as well. I really need to do an actual separate video about this game. Lovely little game, it really is. I think you've got to try and, oh bugger, I'm on 72%. I think you've got to try and claim, is it 75% of the screen, which is the same as Quicks. It's Quicks, but they've just, you know, they've just stuck with simple graphics and created a really good game in the process. Sometimes it's not about the graphics, it's about the actual gameplay, and this one has it in bucket loads. Yeah, brilliant little game. If you've never played it, go and check it out. It's really super fun. That is Zolix on the C64. Right, this next one is called 3D Stock Racing. And this, or Stock Car Racing I should say, Stock Car Championship even I should say, and this is on the Spectrum. Press space to start. Come on, move! I've got to say, I love the animation in the cars, the way they're turning around for such simple little graphics. I don't know why I can't seem to move any quicker. I can't seem to get with first gear. No idea what I'm doing wrong here. But I think this would be an excellent little fun game if I could figure out how to accelerate. Possibly there's gears, I've got no idea. Yeah, Anyway, that is 3D stock car racing. This next one is called Action Fighter, and again this is on the ZX Spectrum. Is this based on an arcade game? There is an arcade game that's kinda similar. Sega, it must be actually. Is that what it's called? Action Fighter? I wasn't aware, I wasn't aware that Firebird had actually done any arcade conversions. For a Spectrum, the scrolling's actually not half bad. The graphics are good as well. Oh, so it's a wee bit like Spy Hunter. Road and arrows. Is that going to try and kill me, or is that going to drop off some sort of extra ammunition or something? Extra weapons? Not quite sure actually. You must get, if you look at the top, you've got different icons for different weapons. It's just that I've not actually managed to pick any up yet. I assume that box is a truck. Hey, I made the jump. Back, yeah, that's not bad. That is Action Fighter, and that is on the ZX Spectrum. Right, next one. I shit you not, this is called All Terrain Gardener. I have not got a clue what I'm trying to do here. I've got to say, I'm really impressed with the graphics for the big drip. Now, this was programmed by a chap who goes by the name of Ubik, U-B-I-K. Now, if I remember rightly, he was actually a really good demo maker. So this was obviously his attempt at a game. Score, flowers, safe, dead, left. Yeah, I've really got no idea what I'm trying to do here. I'm assuming I'm trying to save these flowers or something. Right, you don't pick up the poison mushrooms. I've got no idea what I'm doing. I don't know what these flashing things are either. I don't know if they're good or bad. I think they're bad. Yeah, that is All Terrain Gardener Simulator, or whatever it is. Right, next one is this. It's a collection. It's called Arcade, and it's basically a collection of 4 classic arcade games, and this is on the Commodore 64. It's got another stonking Rob Hubbard soundtrack. And can I say, this is one of the very few Space Invader games that was ever released for the Commodore 64. I mean, considering it was one of the first arcade games, probably the most popular arcade game to completely start this industry, there was very, very few Space Invader games for the C64. Could it just be because of the sort of graphic resolution, it wasn't really up to the task or something? I'm not quite sure. But considering this is one of 4 games for £1.99, this is actually quite good. Right, asteroids. Again, it's not bad. Ubik again, you notice that? So he's obviously branched into games at that point. The funny thing was, back in, I don't know when this came out, 1985 or something, people weren't really wanting to play asteroid games. This game arrived quite late. But effectively each game that you're seeing here was like 50 pence, so you couldn't really complain too much. I think they all move a bit too quick actually. But it's not a bad effort, to be fair. Right, Snake. If you ever owned the Nokia 3310, you'll be familiar with this game. I don't think I ever played this game. I mean, I bought this compilation, but I don't think I ever played this. I just thought, what is the point of it? I'm not overly keen in the sort of background that's moving as well. I think that would give you a migraine after 10 minutes. Yeah, even just playing it for the short times actually starting to make my eyes go a bit weird. Right, let's take a look at the very last one, Space Wars. Now Space Wars, I believe, was one of the very earliest games. Quite why they decided to put it on this is anybody's guess. But you know what, asteroids and space, I mean, I would say for the price of Space Invaders alone, it was worth £1.99. I can't imagine anyone actually wanting to play this game. But it's got an absolute kicking soundtrack as well, so. Right, next up is Biospheres on the Amstrad. It looks like you're kind of controlling some sort of, it's like one of the aliens out of War of the Worlds, isn't it? I'm not quite sure what it says there. Accelerators. I've got no idea. Kind of reminds me a wee bit like sort of Gauntlet. Just because it's obviously you're moving about a map and you've got to kill stuff. So that makes it exactly like Gauntlet. But nice graphics, really colourful, typical a typical Amstrad game. Nice sound as well. Oh, it doesn't want me to let me kill these things. Kill the heart. Yeah. Presumably you've got to try and pick up bits of something. Ah, I've just noticed it's populating a little shield bit down the bottom. Right, got you. Anyway, that is Biospheres on the Amstrad. Right, next one. This is Black Lamp, and this is running on the Atari ST. I remember getting this game thinking it looked amazing, and it does look nice, but thinking it was just very clunky. Nice colourful graphics, but it's just a bit sluggish when it actually plays. Yeah, I mean, the actual graphics are really detailed, but I don't know, I just think it lacks colour. I don't know, it was certainly one of the early 16-bit games, to be fair, so, you know, games are never going to be the best when the first sort of systems first come out. I've got no idea what you're actually supposed to do. Presumably you've got to collect things, I think. Again, I think this was released on the 8-bits as well. Never actually played it on any other system other than the Atari ST. Yeah, graphics are really nice. So that is Black Lamp. That is the Atari ST. Right, this next one is Bmx Codes, and this is on the Commodore 64. I'm just laughing at the wee titchy wee graphics. Programmed at the bottom there by Firebird and Giggly Works. Yeah, so it's kind of a race game. It's a bit like Enduro. Is it the Master System Enduro? I think it is, or no, NES. Enduro's a Nintendo game. Again, I've got absolutely no idea whether it was released on any other system. And I'm struggling big time here, in last position. And trailing in last place. Yeah. Right, next one is Body Slam on the Commodore 64. Some iffy looking graphics to begin with. I presume this is a wrestling game, going by the rather unfashionable attire. Josh Tick, and it's a wrestling game. And presumably it's a tag team. I've got no idea what's going on with the guy, the second left at the top with his sort of blonde flock of seagulls comb over. I've got to say though, for a wrestling game, it's graphically it's not actually too bad. I mean, there weren't many wrestling games out. What did we have? We had the rather woeful Rock and Wrestle, which to be fair actually played fairly well, but the graphics just looked horrendous. It was all expanded sprites. And the only other wrestling game I can really think of is it Championship Wrestling, which was released by US Gold. That wasn't actually bad, but this isn't bad at all, considering it was a budget game. So yeah, that is Body Slam, and that is on the Commodore 64. Next one I have heard of, this is Bomb Scare, and this is on the Spectrum. One of many isometric games that came out for this system. Ultimate certainly have a lot to answer for. When they brought out Night Lore, suddenly everybody jumped in the bandwagon. That was the thing, they showed what was possible, and then before long other companies had caught up. In fact, in some cases you could even say they were overtaken. I mean, I think Batman and Head Over Heels, both by John Rittman on the Ocean label, I think they are generally regarded as better games than Night Lore. Sadly, the Commodore 64 just was not up to the task of doing a game like this. Yeah, I've got no idea what I'm doing here. Why did I guess I was going to say that? But nice graphics though, and it moves. It moves along. I feel like as well. So anyway, that is a Bomb Scare, and that is on the Spectrum. Right, this next one you probably recognise this one. This is Booty, and this is Amstrad version. It's actually a game that plays fairly well. It's fairly linear. You pick up keys, you pick up a numbered key, then you go to the corresponding numbered door, and you can move on, you pick up bits of treasure and that kind of stuff. But it's not a bad little game. It was certainly one of the earliest kind of budget games that I can recall. It's got one of the most annoying soundtracks, right enough. Surely there's a way to turn the music off. I think having to listen to that would be enough to put anybody off playing the game. And it looks like I've just killed myself. Treasure 122. Yeah, good fun. Quite a simple little game, but it's actually quite an addictive wee title. So that is Booty, and that is the Amstrad one. Next one, you know this game by now. I don't think there was a bad version of this game. Now, this is the Commodore Amiga one I'm looking at, which is virtually arcade perfect. I did play this quite a bit back in the day. I was never a massive fan of it, although I did play it. I think it's more fun playing two-player than playing individually. Always really impressed with the sort of detail in the graphics, especially when you get little bits of fruit and, you know, cakes and whatnot. Yeah, that kind of level of detail had never really been seen in the game before, you know, going from like 8-bit computers to 16-bit when it was doing graphics like this. Just really, really nice. And it's got one of probably the catchiest, oblique annoying soundtracks this side of Booty. Oh, there's a little McDonald's fries and I've noticed them before. So yeah, that's Bubble Bobble, and that's the Commodore Amiga one. I don't think there's a bad version of anything. This one, The Caverns of Ereban, on the Commodore 64. Now, Lee Brain, interestingly, did Burger Time on the Commodore 64, and it was published by Interceptor Micros, or Interceptor Software I think they were called. So this is sort of kind of scramble-y type game, I think. Scramble meets For Apocalypse, possibly. Yeah, that kind of music style is very distinctive. Virtually all of the Interceptor Software games had really poor music. They also couldn't afford Rob Hubbard was actually, he was after Interceptor Micros, but yeah, so it's kind of For Apocalypse meets Scramble, only not as good as either of these two games. The graphics are actually quite nice. Yeah, Caverns of Ereban. That was in the C64. Sticking with the Commodore 64, we're looking at Chicken Chase. It's actually quite a good little game. I can't remember if this got an absolutely diabolical review or not, or am I thinking of something different, but I always thought it was quite good fun. Basically, you've got to chase... Is that a hedgehog, I think? You're trying to protect your eggs. You basically got to chase rats and what have you out of the chicken roost. It's Expanded Sprite City. And he didn't hang about. And you can pick up the bird seed as well. Do you get points for doing that? I'm not quite sure. Right, and that's me having my way with another chicken, I think. I have got no idea why it's whacking me over the head with its feather or with its wing. let's say, oh, he's coming for me. Yeah, it's got a very simple little game, but it's actually quite good fun. Expanded sprites and all. So yeah, that's Chicken Chase, and that is on the Commodore 64. And once again, sticking with Chicken Chase, this is Chimera. Now this game excited me quite a lot when I first saw pictures of zapping it, because it was like, wow, here's a isometric 3D game from a Commodore 64. And yeah, it is, but as you can tell, the graphics are all pretty much the same. You know, it's just the backgrounds, there's not really any detail going on. It's certainly not got the sort of graphical finesse of any of the Spectrum games, unfortunately. In this game you play the what was nice, it did have some speech. Yeah, in this game you play the part of a robot, and you've got to, so I just thought I'd let you hear the speech there. Yeah, you've got to try and not overheat. You'll see there's a little water meter which goes down, and if you approach a radiator, then your water goes down even quicker. But not a bad little game, not bad for a budget title. Sometimes quite hard to actually see where you are, you know, trying to get the sort of perspective correct, but you know, it made us Commodore 64 fans happy, because we had very, very little games like that to actually choose from. So when a game like this did come along, you know, you had to be grateful. So anyway, yeah, that is Chimera, it says, and that is on the Commodore 64. Next one is called Colo, or Cholo. Oh, this is on the Spectrum, and I have got absolutely no idea what I'm trying to do here. You can see there is some sort of a 3D view, and I can shoot as well, I think, but robot type rat Rizzo. I'm trying to see, is that some sort of radar at the top? I can see a wee pixel moving about, but it's certainly too small to really see what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously some sort of a 3D game, but the graphics are really primitive because it's just wireframe. You don't really get any feel for, you know, being in a solid world at all. You know, are you looking through these things? Are they hollow? I don't know. I can't actually even see anything that I can shoot, because you can't look up or down, it's just like left and right, so I've really got no idea what I'm actually trying to do here. And it's got that little Spectrum firing sound, but anyway, that is Cholo, and that's on the Spectrum. Next up is Circus on the Commodore 64. Oh dear. Right, I appear to be playing the part of a guy with a red jumper on. Now, if I didn't know differently, I would have thought that this looked like it had actually crashed. The graphics are all just a bit messy looking. It's not obvious what bits you can kind of climb up or jump on top of, and it's got probably one of the most annoying soundtracks ever. Yeah, it's got the hallmarks of a budget game, and not a very good budget game at that, I'm afraid. Yeah, where's the off button? So where the link to being in a circus comes from, I have no idea. Energy is 4. Boom. Yeah, that is Circus on the C64. One best avoid, I would say. Right, next one. Again, Commodore 64, and this is called Code Hunter. Now, I play the part of this ball spinning sphere thing. I've got no idea what I'm actually trying to achieve, because if I come into contact with these robots, it's game over. What have I done there? I seem to have... Oops. I thought it might be like Qbert, where you've got to try and change the colour. Program terminated. Well, I ain't got any points so far. Oh, I've got 15 points. How did I manage that? Now, I know some people will criticise me and say, well, you should really read instructions in practice before you start to play it. Well, when you've got a video that's got something like 60 games in it, you simply don't have the time to practice. I don't ever practice games, I'll just load them up and play them. I think that's half the appeal. Well, that's for me anyway. I mean, it looks nice. It looks and sounds nice if I just had a clue what I was actually meant to be doing. So, yeah, that is Code Hunter. And that is the C64. Next up is Costa Capers. This is on the Amstrad. Just laughing at the main characters, like some guy with a big overcoat on. Canaflager. Costa Capers, presumably I am on holiday somewhere. Oh yep, there we go, off to sunny Spain, viva España. It's got a very, very odd choice of colours. It looks what I would imagine a Dragon 32 or an Auric game to look like, not an Amstrad game. Yeah, I mean, it's got about, what, 5 colours going on there? It's obviously trying to cash in on the Manic Miner style game. I've got no idea what that little sprite is in the middle of the screen. It's like a wee guy jumping up and down. I've got no idea what that's meant to be. I don't know. And do we really care? Not particularly. So that is Costa Capers on the Amstrad. Next up is Crazy Cavern. And this is on the Spectrum. Now I'm playing the part of the little sort of smiley face, the little white smiley face, and I'm moving blocks. Now what I've got to do with these blocks, did I get points there? Ah, I've got to, right, I think I've got to feed them. Yeah, I've got to push them into the little gaping mouth. That's what I'm trying to do. So you move the little block along, then push it into the mouth. So it's kind of like, I can't remember, there's a game, not box it, there's a game, it's a traditional game where you've got to try and line up boxes. It's kind of similar to that, but in the case of this one you've got to feed the mouth. Interestingly, that's Crazy Caverns, and that was the Spectrum. Next one, sticking with the Spectrum, is Crosswise. Right, okay, this is a vertical, sorry, horizontal shoot 'em up in the vein of R-Type Nemesis, and it's difficult. Is that different weapons along the bottom possibly? Is that game over already? Alright, okay, so I've got some extra weapons and I've lost the extra weapons. It's got some nice explosion effects, but it's just too damn difficult. Player 2, oh, I wonder if you could have simultaneous 2 players. That might make the game slightly easier. I mean, you're trying to avoid, yeah, you're trying to avoid the background as well, on top of trying to avoid getting shot. Just a wee bit too difficult for my liking. But really nice graphics. Yep, that is Crosswise. That is on the Spectrum. Next one is Silo on the Amstrad. Oh god, this looks complicated. Get, enter, drop. Is this going to be a text adventure? Right, what am I controlling here? Ah, right, okay, I appear to be controlling that sort of robot thing. Ooh, dearie me, it's got the most awful choice of colours you could ever pick. The little main sprite looks quite similar to the one in Chimera in the C64, but the choice of colours in this is awful. Items, fuel, paces. Yeah, I'm really, it's the colours are horrible in this. It looks like if you're looking at a sort of negative of a game, it was always oranges and reds. Yeah, I would say this would get frustrating very easily, I think. I mean, look at the tiny little playing area. Half the screen's taken up by the big sort of inventory and the score at the bottom. I don't know why they do that. Maybe to keep the speed up. I'm not too sure. Anyway, that is Silo, and that is on the Amstrad. Again, sticking with Amstrad, we've got Demon's Revenge. Keyboard, joystick. Let's stick with easy, I think. I like that. You know, this game reminds me of Sorcery, which was a very early game by Virgin Interactive. Were they just called Virgin at the time? I can't remember what they're called, but kinda similar. And again, that was on the Amstrad, but this one's more sort of three-dimensional, but obviously you're moving up and down the screen as well. Really nice graphics, mega colourful. You know, the game I just looked at was also on the Amstrad, and yet it had horrible colour, so nothing to do with the fact that the computer couldn't handle better colour. It was just the wrong choice of colour palette, lads, I think. Now, presumably this is one of these games where you've got to pick up something and then take it somewhere else and drop it. That was a very common sort of game theme back in the 80s. There's a pentagram in the middle. Ah, that replenishes my power apparently. It's kinda like Attic Attack, except with a slightly different viewpoint. That's nice though. I like the graphics in this, really bright and colourful. So that is Demon's Revenge, it says, and that is on the Amstrad. Next one is Denarius, and this is on the Commodore 64. And if I remember rightly, I think I bought this game. If I remember rightly, I think I bought it thinking it looked amazing, and yeah, graphically wise it is quite nice, but it's actually not a particularly exciting game. You know, it's got the sort of the bas relief graphics which were extremely popular. You know, once Andrew Braybrook brought out Iridium, everybody in their auntie were jumping on the bas relief graphic bandwagon. That's a great idea for a band, the bas relief graphic bandwagon. Yeah, very generic. There was definitely better shoot 'em ups in the C64. That was Denarius. Next one on Amstrad, this is called Don't Panic, or the Dad's Army version. Don't panic, Mr. Mannering. If you're under 30 years old, you'll have no idea what I'm talking about. Right, what am I trying to do here? I'm controlling this little robot. Oops, I've just been killed. I like the little sprite, that's quite nice actually. So presumably am I trying to rescue the little teddy bears whilst avoiding the what looks like, is it Barney the dinosaur, except he's green. It's kind of, oh no you don't, I'm not, so what am I trying to do here then? If I'm not picking up teddy bears, what am I actually trying to do? Well, I've not got any score so far. Ah, right, I can shoot things. Right, okay, that makes a bit of difference. So presumably I need to shoot the teddy bears whilst avoiding Barney the dinosaur. Something I'm not doing very well. Let's go for it once more. Don't panic! You get 6 lives, which is quite interesting. Why 6? Why not, you're saying? Right, I just shot that thing, but I still can't pick it up. How did I get rid of this thing? You know, I've got absolutely no idea what I'm supposed to be doing here. I do, however, like the sprite for the little robot that you're controlling. It reminds me of Johnny 5 out of Short Circuit, which was quite a good 80s film. So yeah, don't panic, and that is on the Amstrad. Moving back to the C64, this is Druid. I think, now I could be wrong, I think this was a full price game. Now this game was basically cashing in on the Gauntlet genre. This game came out before Gauntlet was released. I remember when Gauntlet was announced, you know, we were all so excited about getting a Gauntlet game, and this came along and basically came out before Gauntlet. It's got really nice graphics. The only thing about this game that I didn't like, it was just way too difficult. Yeah, if they'd just given you, I don't know, slightly more pickups, you could pick up energy and that kind of thing, it'd be a better game. One thing that was nice about it though, you control a golem thing later on once you find it, and if you've got a second player, you can actually play the part of the golem. It's because it was just too difficult. I never got very far. I don't think I ever got off the, I may have, you know what, I think I did get off the first level once. I'm sure it's like a kind of castle type thing. But graphics and sounds excellent. It's a really nice game. I just wish they'd made it that wee bit easier. Yeah, too difficult, but nice game. That's Druid, and that's on the Commodore 64. Right, moving on to a different computer. This is a Duck. Can't think why. And this is on the BBC. So it's Carnival, isn't it? That's what it is. Right, so when you shoot the duck, you've then got to make sure it doesn't land in your head. There's Mother Duck or Mother Goose. Oh, taking it out. Oh, I got up to 1100 points. Yes, I think the word that would spring to mind with this game is simplicity. Go on, get to level 2. What's level 2 got for us? More ducks. That's what it's called, Duck, I guess. Yeah, Right, next one, Dynamic Duo. And this is on Amstrad. Whoa, that is bright graphics. Bright, garish graphics. Right, I appear to have a bird stuck to my head. Again, another example of a really beautiful looking game. Bird and Dwarf. Once again, I have got absolutely no idea what I'm actually trying to do. Right, so there is a radar of sorts that presumably you should use to try and get to the bottom of the screen, possibly. Ooh, what happened there? Right, I've got no idea what happened there. I'm guessing if you had a second player, somebody could control the bird. Maybe. Don't know, that's Dynamite Duo, and that is on Amstrad. Right, this game is a classic, and it really deserves more than 2 minutes worth. This is Elite, and this is on the Commodore 64. It was released for all the 8-bit machines. It was released for the BBC, which is, I would say, is definitely the best 8-bit version. Spectrum, Amstrad, obviously Commodore 64. It also came out for the Amiga. Apparently the Archimedes is the best version of the original game. Though I think if you want to get the sort of purest experience, vector graphics wise, then you would always want to go for the BBC one. But this was the one that I used to play back in the day. I got to the dizzy ranks of dangerous. If you've never seen Elite, where have you been? Well, chances are you might have not even been born when it came out. It did come out in 1985, I think it was. And it was the first game by Zap to get a gold medal, I think. But yeah, the idea being you pilot this spacecraft, you can trade, you make money, you can shoot baddies, kill pilots, you can steal cargo, you've got to dock. I mean, there's something, I don't know how many space stations there are, there's like something like 10,000. It was an amazing game for its time, and if you've never played it, you've absolutely got to play it. So that is Elite, and that was the C64 one. Next one is Empire, and this is on the Spectrum. Good luck, radio message, press any key. From the starbase, a skilled pilot is needed. One thing I liked about Spectrum, you notice how it could do super detailed graphics. Really kind of high res looking, really super detailed. And what I'm trying to do here, I have got no idea. Manual control again. I mean, it looks like you're controlling a sort of thrust ship. But I've got to say, it beats the shit out of me as to what I'm supposed to be doing. There apparently is nothing happening at all. Yeah, oh, can I shoot that? Yeah, I'm sure it's good if I actually knew what I was doing. That is Empire. That was in the Spectrum. Right, sticking with the Commodore 64, this is Enlightenment. This was the sequel to Druid, otherwise known as Druid 2. Never actually had this game. And I can see there the little, you've got the golem icon at the bottom, so presumably it's kind of sticking with the same formula of the original. One thing that annoys me about this game though, and even in the original, is the very small screen size. I mean, what is the purpose of that thing that's moving up and down? Is that some sort of like health indicator? Then you've got about a third of the screen taken up with icons, you know, which just reduces the actual playfield massively. But never played this one. But can see it is very similar to the original, which is not a bad thing because the original was a great game, just too hard. It's kind of similar to Gauntlet. I mean, it's probably a bit more in depth than Gauntlet, but you know, you've got to pick up keys, you've got potions, and you need to pick up keys to unlock doors and that kind of stuff. Food, what's that? Food druids on key. It's like Gauntlet meets oh, I've gone into some sort of cave and instantly died. It's like Gauntlet meets Ghosts and Goblins. So that is Druid 2. That was in the C64. Staying in the C64, this is called Exodus. And this looks awful, doesn't it? It's Tempest with Dizzy. Deary me, it's like a very poor man's Gyrus. Laser status. You always know a game's lazy when they just use the built-in font of the Commodore 64. Most games would actually try and change it to look nice, but yeah, I could just describe this as, oh, there's a Commodore 64 sign. I could just describe this as a cheapo Tempest meets Gyrus, only 1% as good as them two. Right, next one is Fat Man Sam on the BBC. What's the betting this is going to be some sort of platformer? And I've instantly died. Right, so presumably that is me in the bottom left. Right, so I can't jump up there. And I die when I hit that thing on the left hand side, whatever it is. Right, so I can't go that way. Take a look at this. Is that the name of the first level, is it? Game over. Let's see if we can get over that thing. Right, I'm beat. Where do we go from here? If we can't jump over that, we can't go into the platform above, we can't jump to the left. What are you supposed to do? I give up. If anyone knows how to play it, then put a link below. That was Fat Man Sam. Right, next up is Flying Shark. And this is the Spectrum one. Now I did do an arcade perfect my arse on this one. It was one of the first ones I done actually. And this is actually a really nice game. The only thing I would criticise it for is the bullets. The enemy bullets are quite difficult to see because it's all yellow and black. But scrolling is super smooth, and they've also kept the correct sort of screen ratio, which makes it look pretty good. Yeah, the background graphics are really detailed. Also, that's one real advantage of the Spectrum. It used to, you know, most games they would pick sort of monochrome, but the flip side to that was the actual resolution was really nice. It looks really good in a game like this. You can just imagine these graphics if they had better colour. But overall, a really impressive conversion. I see there, player 2, was that, could you have a simultaneous 2-player game? I'm sure you could in an arcade one. Now I'm guessing you'd have to either have a double joystick adapter, I don't even know if that was a thing, or else one person would play in the keys. But yeah, as far as shoot 'em ups go in the Spectrum, this is definitely one of the best. That's Flying Shark, says, and that was the Spectrum one. Next game is called Force 1, and this is on the Commodore 64. It's looking very kinda Delta-esque. The one thing that never ceases to annoy me with some games, and this being guilty of it, is why they, why they use up probably almost half the screen has been taken up with the score in a huge big banner, Force 1. What is that all about? Is that just lazy programming, possibly? It's not like the C64 can't handle sprite games, so I don't know why. Yeah, it's no R-Type. It's your typical budget shoot 'em up. They're saying that there were some great budget shoot 'em ups, but this is pretty basic. I don't know if you get any power-ups or anything at all. I'm not seeing any so far. Anyway, that is Force 1, and that was on the Commodore 64. Again, same in the C64, this is Freak Factory. A bizarre looking game. It's expanded sprite special. Is that thing going to bite me? Maybe not. That's quite ghoulish looking at a sort of face stuck to the side of the wall. Oh, my energy, you can see my energy going in there, so don't go up to the faces on the wall. Whoa, is that game over? Enter my lair, try the lift. I remember the name of this game, but I don't remember ever actually seen it at all. I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing here. Right, just walking past these things seems to drain your energy. Right, only when he opens his eyes. Yeah, a bizarre game. Freak Factory on the C64. And again, sticking in the C64, this is Galaxy Birds. Now, interestingly, I'm sure this game, it started way too quickly, I'm sure this game was programmed by Sensible Software. Obviously quite basic, but you know, it's a budget game. Some nice sprites. Certainly plenty going on the screen. Yeah, I'm not sure there's an awful lot of skill going on here, because the things are just, you know, flying down the screen towards you. You know, there's not really, you can't really. It's pretty difficult trying to kind of judge what you're going to shoot. Yeah, it's a bit different, I guess. That is Galaxy Birds. It says that's on the C64, and once again, sticking the C64. This is called Jerry the Germ. Now, I know that music, never actually played the game, but that was one of Rob Howard's sort of most famous tunes, I would say. Right, I've got no idea what I'm trying to do here. See, again, I was talking about how much screen is taken up with titles. This one's the same. I just think it's a wee bit of a cop-out actually, you know, when they're doing that. We want games to take up the full screen, we don't want games to only take up 2/3 like this one's doing. By all means have a score, but have it at the top. It shouldn't take up, you know, 1/3 of the screen. Yeah, I've got absolutely no idea of what I'm trying to do here. A rather bizarre game. Oh, avoid the toilet roll and the swimming horse. No, I'm beat. I've got no idea at all. Don't know, give up. That's Jerry the Germ, that's on the C64. This one is GI Hero. I appear to have cut the screen slightly too much in this one. This is on the Amstrad. Wow, that's what you call a big graphic. See, and again they're doing the same thing. Half the screen is just your score. But I think possibly in the case of this game, to try and keep the speed up for such big graphics, they've done that deliberately. This I would let this game away with that, but shoot 'em ups and that kind of stuff, I don't think there's any excuse to do that. I like the graphics in this though. Very, very detailed. I've got to say it does look like a Spectrum game, which is no bad thing, but you know, when you consider what an amazing colour palette the Amstrad has, this could have looked so much nicer. What's interesting about this game is you'll notice you don't actually see the bullets on screen. Most video games you always get to see the bullets, but this is kind of more realistic. I don't know what the numbers at the top mean. That's scrolling along. Don't know, but anyway, that is was it G.I. Joe I think it was called, and that is on the Amstrad. Quite a nice looking game actually. Yep, let's batter on. Next one on again on the C64, this is Go-Go the Ghost. Ooh, dearie me. I'm saying dearie me because I mean, look at the colours, they're just horrible. It's no wonder the C64 gets criticised for having a dull colour palette. You know, I never really realised that at the time when I owned one, but you know, comparing these games now, you realise just how some games in the C64 were extremely dull looking. Not that it was capable of doing more, it was just the fact that it was down to the programmers. It reminds me a wee bit of Bubble Ghost on the Atari ST. I think it was also out of the Commodore Amiga. You've got to control a little ghost through a maze, different kind of split screens, not split screens, flick screens I should say. Only this is not as good. Yeah, anyway, that is Go-Go the Ghost. That is on the Commodore 64. Now back to the Amstrad. This is called Gothic. Ah, that is what you call firepower. Is this some sort of gauntlet clone possibly? It certainly looks like it. He's turned into a big steaming pile of poo, or is that blood supposed to be? It doesn't. I was going to say, it doesn't appear I can kill him. How would I pick up the potion? Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on there. I'm trying to shoot things and it doesn't really seem to be happening. Kill the monkey. Oh, I can't get past because there's blood on the ground. I don't know how you get rid of these things. It doesn't appear you can shoot them. Nice graphics, if I just really knew what I was supposed to be doing. There must be some way of getting rid of that. Don't know. Anyway, that is Gothic, and that is on the Amstrad. This next one is Gyron. Now, I could not play this game. I wasn't even going to attempt to play it, so this is just the demo. Now this game, I remember seeing this, it was always running in the window of John Menzies. They always had this game running on the Spectrum. It was either this game or School Days. They were the two games that always seemed to be displayed on the Spectrum. Commodore 64, was it Ghostbusters, I think, possibly? But yeah, I always remember seeing this in the window, thinking it looked quite a bizarre game. I don't think the C64 could have done this because the Spectrum was able to sort of shift these big kind of balls. I've got no idea what the game's about. None at all. But from a sort of technical viewpoint, it's quite impressive. Yeah, anyway, that is Gyron. That was on the Spectrum. Again, staying with the Spectrum, this is the happiest days of your life. For Kempson joystick, and let's start the game. School gates, as opposed to Bill Gates. Right, okay, so it's one of these. Walk to the side, pick up an object, take it to another screen, drop it, pick up another object. So what have I got? I've got the school tie and a betting slip. It's kind of like a poor man's Everyone's a Wally, or even Pajama Rama. Pajama Rama was the original sort of pick up game by Microgent. I'm not quite sure what you look like. Some old overweight fat bloke. There's presumably you're supposed to be some young schoolboy. Yeah, these games were just so common back in the 80s. I was never a fan of them at all. The only game I did play, and I've already mentioned it, was Pajama Rama. I enjoyed that. I liked the graphics. They were really, really cartoony. But apart from that, I can't remember playing any of these other games. I just thought they were quite boring. There was just far too many of them. So that is the happiest days of your life. And this is Harvey Wallbanger. Now oddly I could not get the game started despite a couple of attempts, so this is the demo mode. Now it looks like it's some sort of paint game. You're trying to colour the screen your colour, I think. Oh, I don't know what happened here. It looks like you play the part of Humpty Dumpty. You pick up the cocktail. I presume it's a cocktail since the game's named after one. What's odd is the red character changes the squares blue and the blue changes them red. Not quite sure what's going on there. Yeah, I'm not sure how you actually win. Oh, we've both turned black. Don't know. That is Harvey Wallbanger. That was in the C64, and again this is another C64 game. This is called Headache. Oh, I remember seeing an advert for this in the magazines. Never played it before. You're getting chased by some rather odd looking sort of jellyfish characters. Yeah, this was one of the original sort of budget games. I think this is one of the earliest Firebird games. It's got all the hallmarks of a budget game. Quite simplistic gameplay. I've got absolutely no idea what I'm actually supposed to be doing here. I don't know what these things are that look like somebody sitting down facing the left hand side. No idea what that's meant to be. If anybody's still with this video at this point, thank you very much for staying with me. I think I would have probably turned off before now. Anyway, that was Headache, that was on the C64. Now this is another Amstrad one. This is called Hell Chopper. Or is it Heli Chopper? I'm not quite sure, I maybe spelled it wrong. I've got no idea what these little things on the left hand side are. You can see they're all sort of, it's like circling white. So is that it? I'm basically dropping bombs on what looks like drops of rain floating upwards. Bizarre. And is that looks like Monty Mole on the right hand side. Yes, I don't think I'd want to play this game for very long. Quite what it's got to do with helicopters, I've got no idea. Evidence that not all budget games were good. I think that's fair to say. The thing with a lot of budget games is because they were only costing like £1.99, I mean they weren't making a lot of money on them. A lot of the games that were very simplistic. You know, they weren't a lot, in many cases they weren't any better than some of the typing games that you got. So that is Hell Chopper or Heli Chopper, whatever. Now this next one, I didn't actually catch the name of it. Once this thing moves along the bottom I'll be able to see what it's called. This looks like it's on the Spectrum. I have got absolutely no idea at all what I'm supposed to be doing. Right, it's called Hive, and it is indeed on the Spectrum. No idea what I'm meant to be doing here. That looks like a little kind of gun icon, sort of in the middle of the screen, sort of flashing a wee bit. Don't know, I've got no idea at all. South, west, north, so I appear to be turning, but I give up. That is Hive, and that's on the ZX Spectrum. Next one is called Hyper Blob, and this again is on the Commodore 64. You can see there it's released by Firebird in 1987. See, why did the programmers feel the need to put that on the screen? No reason at all. We don't need to be reminded that it's by Firebird every time you play the game. Game over. Right, again, I've got absolutely no idea at all what I'm doing here. Am I trying to transport the heads safely somewhere? Don't know, who cares? Right, next one is Eyeball 2. And this is on the Spectrum. You could probably hear there, it's got speech. So it's kinda like a wacky sort of a shoot 'em up. Horizontal scrolling one, I think, or does it scroll, or is it flick screen on the Spectrum? I think it might be flick screen. Or is that a single screen? It's got exit at the bottom. Ah, there's a key at the top there. So presumably you've got to try and get up there and get the key and escape. Anyway, that is Eyeball 2 on the Spectrum, and going back a bit, this is Eyeball 1, the original. But this is on the Commodore 64. I did buy this because I think it got quite good reviews, but I always thought it looked like a Spectrum. I don't like the colour at all that they've used in this version. It's extremely dull looking. Sound is excellent though, the speech is really good. Though it did become annoying fairly quickly. Avoid the teeth. That's like the spaceship from Xavius. Yeah, I'm not keen on the graphics for this at all. No, I think if you actually got into it, it turned into quite a decent little shooter. But that's Eyeball. That's in the Commodore 64. Now this is Intensity. You see they're programmed by Andrew Braybrook, no less. He of Uridium fame. Now I don't know what year it was. I didn't even realise he'd actually done a budget game. It kinda looks like the end level of Uridium, or the bit where you land. I've got no idea what I'm trying to do here. Buying phase. So I control that. It looks like a little barrel with sparkly lights, sort of lights around it. Rescued. Nah, it beats the shit out of me what I'm supposed to be doing here. Graphically it's really nice. I like when you see the little thing land and you see the little kind of shadow. That's really nice graphics. Of course, Andrew Braybrook was probably the first one to really perfect this sort of bas relief graphics, you know, with portraying obstacles that are sticking up with like shadows and that kind of stuff. Anyway, sorry I couldn't show that one off any better. That is Intensity, and that's on the Commodore 64. And again in the C64 this is called Into Oblivion. Now I've only played it for about 10 seconds, but I've got to say this is mightily impressive looking. Yeah, I like the presentation and the graphics are amazing. perfect example of a budget game being done really well. We did get an occasional budget game that, you know, Zap would comment and say that it could have probably been a full price game, and this is possibly one of them. I mean, certainly the presentation and graphics and the sound is really good. If a little tough, but that is excellent. That is Into Oblivion, and that was on the C64. This one is called Kinetic, and this is on the Amstrad. You play the part of, I don't know quite what you play, some kind of robot-y bouncy ball type thing. You're bouncing about on top of flowers and whatnot. You can shoot whatever that might be. Pollen, is it? I've got no idea. I don't know what happened to you. What on earth? It's got a rather kind of bizarre control system. It's a wee bit like Whizball before you start picking up power-ups, where you bounce and then you can sort of influence the direction when you're actually in midair. It's not the most straightforward control method I've ever used. It's game over. That is Kinetic. That is Amstrad. Right, Mad Nurse. Goodness me, that is expanded sprites taken to another level. Yeah, this is Mad Nurse on the C64 now. This is actually, I never owned this game back in the day, but I have played it a few times on emulation, and it's actually quite a good fun little game. You're basically playing the part of a nanny, and you'll see there you've got little babies who can walk about, and you've basically got to pick them up and put them into the cot and try and avoid them getting electrocuted or burned, whatever. You'll see the babies walking about. The animation is fantastic. So put them into his cot like so. Hope that wee baby's going to touch the electrical socket. You probably wouldn't get away with a game like this nowadays, but it's actually tremendous fun. Yeah, and I think they eat things as well and turn green. And it's got a nice little sort of theme tune that kind of drives you on. You get in here, so you've got to pick him up and then drop him in his cot. And you get points when you do that. There we go, on to Ward 3. It's basically a take on these little Game & Watch games where it's just you're jumping back and forwards, trying to react all the time. It's like spinning plates. But that's Mad Nurse, and that is on the C64. That is worth checking out. This one is Magnetron. Now, if I remember rightly, is this not based on Uridium? No, it's not. I'm thinking of something completely different. Oh no, it is actually. No, this is the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, you've got these little robots zooming about. And I think if you want to upgrade, you'll see, does it tell you, is that V2, P4, I think these are different grades of droids, and you can do this little sort of transfer game thing to to change robots. Very, very similar. There you go, preparing to grapple. Right, I've got no idea what I'm supposed to be. I've got to match up. Countdown complete. Right, I've just died. Yeah, but instead of a kind of overhead view, they've gone for an isometric, sort of a pseudo 3D one. I'm not quite sure that this works for a game like this. I think I prefer the easy to kind of see C64 Paradroid. But you can certainly see where it got its influences from. And I'm sure it'd be a good game if you actually knew what you were doing. That's Magnetron. Next one is Megabucks, and this is on the Amstrad. You can tell it's Amstrad because no other computer's got that orange colour. Well, certainly not the Spectrum of the Commodore 64. Right, it's an odd choice of colour, yellow and green. Again, it's one of these running for the side, pick up objects, drop them. I like the main sprite, that's actually really nice. You have failed to find... Oh, okay, right, let's go for another shot. Current input joystick. Yeah, the main sprite's nicely animated. The actual graphics are detailed, if not very nice colour. Yeah, it does remind me very much of Everyone's a Wally by Microgen, though I've got to say I think I prefer the look of the Microgen game. Yeah, there was a sort of a spate of games that were using like icons. It was basically to try and, you know, the 16-bit computers came along and they had icons, so there was programmers trying to sort of do icon-based graphics on the 8-bit machines. Freaky. Yeah, again, it wasn't my cup of tea, but lots of people love this style of game. That is Megabucks, and that is on Amstrad. Right, over to the BBC again for a wee while. This is Microcosm, which kind of looks a bit like Jetpack meets Manic Miner. There appears to be a complete lack of any sound. Don't know whether I've turned it off or something, not too sure. Oh, what was a beep? So when you shoot something, you get a noise, I think. The sound seems to be rather random. Ah no, you know what, the sound is actually the timer almost running out. Yeah, that is Microcosm in the BBC, that looks quite nice if I just knew what I was doing. Right, this is called Mission Genocide. Now, I didn't catch it, I think this is on the Commodore 64. A rather sort of basic little game. You see what they've done here, they've, you know, they've overlaid graphics which don't appear to have any bearing in the game to sort of make it look nice, but the actual game is just sprites coming towards you. There's no real attack patterns as such, so it's a fairly simple game, but it says I've overlaid it with some graphics that's scrolling in the background, which kind of gives the impression that it's it's probably better than it actually is, or it looks better than it actually is. You know, fairly monotonous game. In fact, no, I think that's actually on the Amstrad, now that I see the colours. Right, this is Mr. Freeze, and this is on the Commodore 64. Again, this was one of the very early games. I remember seeing adverts along with that headache. Now what annoys me about, well, when I was a C64 owner, is playing a game like this where they've, you know, they can use 8 colours and they've gone for what, 3 or 4. There's really no excuse. Is that a chicken leg that's floating about above you? Right, I've got no idea. Am I supposed to shoot that or something? I don't know. And it's got that lazy Commodore 64 font for the scores. I know the scores isn't an integral part of the game, but you know, games that actually change the font, it just gives it a nicer look, whereas it always looks like a game programmed in BASIC when it's using the built-in font. But anyway, that's Mr. Freeze, and that is on the C64. And staying with the Mr. games, this is called Mr. Wino, again on the Commodore 64. Now look at the difference. Look at the difference in colour. You know, this game's got colour in abundance. Is that a baked potato that's chasing me or something, or is it a fireball or something? I'm really not too sure. And it doesn't appear I can go up the ladder. I like the animation, I must admit, quite smooth. Right, so as Yaz in the Plastic Population once said, the only way is up. If you're under 30, you've probably got no idea what I'm talking about. Right, can I go through there? Apparently not. Right, looks like I die when I hit my head in that thing. Anyway, that is quite nice. That is Mr. Wino. That's in the Commodore 64. And back to the Amstrad, this is Ninja Scooter Simulator. I can't wait. Right, we can see what this is supposed to be. This is basically a take on Metrocross, but it's got that really horrible scrolling on the Amstrad. I don't think the Amstrad had hardware scrolling, but I do know there's some games did it better than this. But it's got the coloured squares, it's got the ramps, it's got the hurdles, exactly like Metrocross. So this is basically a budget version of Metrocross, though I would say it's not as good. Yeah, ninjas were a big thing back in the 80s, so anything at all that they could call ninja, they would do so, because obviously they thought they were going to get more people buying it. I mean, I don't quite see what this has got to do with ninjas, It's got nothing to do with ninjas, in fact it's a guy on a scooter. But obviously they thought they'd stick in the word ninja, which is going to encourage more kids to part with their hard earned cash. Or should I say their parents' hard earned cash. So yeah, that is basically a poor man's Metro Cross. Yep. Right, next one. This is called Ollie on the Commodore 64. Now I did buy this on the C64 because Zap gave it quite a good review. Now I always thought it looked, animation wise it looked really nice, but I could never ever figure out how to play the game. And I can understand the basics behind the game. You know, you play the part of a bull, you've got to make him chase towards you, and then you put the red blanket over him. But do you think I could actually get it to work? The animation is great, really is. There's some nice little touches. Yeah, I mean, look at the tiny little bull, but the animation looks lovely. There you go, the wee bull's sitting down. Come and port him off and carry him off to hospital, and the little bull applauds. Yeah, a nice little video game based on a absolutely barbaric real sport. It's not a sport, it's just a barbaric event. So that is Ollie, and that is on the Commodore 64. And sticking with the C64, this is called Ollie and Lisa. Now it's a C64 game, but it looks more like a Spectrum game. Don't know what was going on there. Yeah, I don't like the colour at all. There's a kind of sort of mix and match of sprites. I mean, your sprite is all one colour. The little ghost at the top's all one colour. Then you've got the wee guy above you that's red and white. I just don't like the way they've kind of, it's like different styles mixed together, and it just doesn't work. Which is a shame, because it actually looks like it could be quite a fun little game to play. But I just don't like it. I don't like the way they've. I don't like the graphical style one little bit. They need to either decide stick with multicoloured sprites, or else stick with monochrome sprites. But to try and mix it like they've done doesn't work. That is Ollie and Lisa. That's in the C64, and this is Oriental Hero, and this is on this Spectrum. Beware of Cobra. Oh, you know what? I think I've seen this game before. I may have actually done a "is this one of the worst games ever" videos. Either that, or was it Stuart Ashen done a video about this game. I think he said it was completely and utterly unplayable, which hopefully I will demonstrate. I think this game probably deserved its own video actually. Weapon teeth. Yes, what chance have you got of actually avoiding these things? Don't quite know what I'm doing here. Is anything going to happen? Oh, I managed to kick somebody, but I've still got no points and I'm dead. Diabolical. Seriously, that was Oriental Hero and that was in the Spectrum. This next one is called Pandora, and this is on the C64, as you've probably guessed. You did not achieve anything that could be considered for evaluation. Is that game over, presumably, is it? Right, so I'm controlling this little guy. This reminds me of Parallax by Sensible Software. There's a bit where you land and you change into a little, you've got to try and rescue the professor, I think it is, or the scientists. It's got a kind of very similar viewpoint. It looks a bit like Paradroid. I've got no idea what's actually happening here. None at all. I don't know if the game's crashed, so you can see the little hit meter at the bottom is still moving. Anyway, that is Pandora, and that is on the Commodore 64. Next up is Parabola on the Amstrad, I should say. Select next location and press bounce. Right, so it's kinda Qbert versus, Qbert mixed with Nightlore. Yeah, I think Ultimate played the game. I've got a lot to answer for bringing out something like Nightlore. I mean, it revolutionised graphics, certainly in the spectrum. But then so many games, it seemed that every company, even budget games, were putting out games that had the same graphical style. And the very way that they're portrayed, it's not always easy to see exactly where you are. And I don't think this style of game works for every style, style of graphic works on every style of game. Again, I've got absolutely no idea what I'm trying to do here. But you know what, it looks nice enough. I'm sure it's a fun little game. That's Parabola on the Amstrad. And the second last game, guys, is called Rainbow Dragon, and this is on the Commodore 64. That is certainly one of the largest sprites I've ever seen you control. And again, rather annoyingly, they're only utilising half the screen. I'm trying to figure out what the relevance of the bit at the top is. It's like pillars with cracks appearing. Yeah, why could they not use the full screen? The animation of the dragon's actually quite nice. I'm not going to get through there, am I? I've got no idea what I'm trying to. Am I getting killed here? I think I am. Certainly am. That is Rainbow Dragon, and that is on the Commodore 64. And the very, very last game, guys, if anybody's still sticking with me up to this point, then thank you very much. You've obviously got the patience of a saint. This is the very last game. This is called Rasputin on the ZX Spectrum. as you can see guys, this is a monumental video. I'm delighted to get to the end of it, doing the recording, because trying to talk for 2.5 hours about budget games can be quite tiring, and that's why I've done it in several sections. Couldn't possibly have done this in one sitting. Bloody hell, if that's not going to give you a nightmare, I don't know what will. And just what I was saying there, it's the old isometric 3D game style getting used again. But anyway, listen guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. As I says, it's a monster. It was a monster to make. I don't think I'll ever do another video quite this as long, because it's a bit of a ball ache. But I hope you enjoyed watching it. If there's any company you'd like to see me do They Did What, just put your comments below and I'll see what I can do. And as usual guys, thank you very much for watching.